Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. I'm Hasham Ali Khan. So now I'm starting the problems on sequencing. In the last two videos, I have explained you the meaning of sequencing problems, what are the assumptions, and what is the technique of finding an optimum sequence problem. So actually sequencing problems are those problems where we find out the optimum sequence of doing a number of jobs. Each job is passing through different facilities like machines. We are having a number of jobs, finite number of jobs, just like 10 jobs we have. And every job has to pass through processing will be on A machine and B machine, 2 machines or 3 machines like that. So the time required for every job on every machine will be given. Now our objective is how to finish off all the 10 jobs in the minimum possible time. In what sequence we have to complete, which job should be done first and which job should be done next. That optimum sequence we have to find out. These problems are called sequencing problems. I have already uploaded 2 videos on the meaning of the term sequence. So before starting the problems, I expect my viewers that already you have watched the theory video. Without understanding the concept, we should not come directly to the problem. So if you have not watched, I suggest you go to the playlist of my channel. Select the subject Operations Management. Select the videos of sequencing problems, theory videos. Watch the first 2 videos, be clear about the concept, then you can easily understand the problems. Now, before starting the problems, I expect my viewers to have a printout of the problems, which I have given in the link under my description. Always keep it ready. So before explanation of the first problem, take the screenshot of the points which I have written, then I'll explain every point in detail. Come on, see the first problem. A book binder has one printing press, one binding machine, and the manuscript of number of different books. The 2 machines that book binder is having, printing machine and binding machine. So naturally, first of all, work will be done on printing machine. Once printing job is finished, then it will pass on to binding machine. So we can call it as M1 as the printing machine, M2 as the binding machine. And the manuscript of number of different books. The time required to perform the printing and binding operations for each book are shown below. We wish to determine the order in which the books should be processed in order to minimize the total time required to turn out all the books. The books are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the printing time in hours and binding time in hours is given. Example, book number 1. 30 hours we require for printing and 80 hours we require for binding. Second book, 120 hours on printing, 100 hours on binding. Like that, for all the books we are given the printing time and binding time. So actually books are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we have to find out what is the optimum sequence of completing all the books so that the total elapsed time. Elapsed time means the time from starting of the first book and ending on the last book. So what is the sequence? How we can be able to finish off all the 6 books in the shortest possible time? What is the sequence? That is the problem. Now actually the technique is given by Johnson and Bellman. I have already explained the theory video regarding this procedure given by Johnson and Bellman. So what they say is, first of all, select the smallest processing time on both the machines. Sometimes the smallest processing time will be on M1 and sometimes it may be on M2. Select where the smallest possible time is. If the smallest possible time is on M1, first machine, start giving assignment from the left. Suppose if the smallest possible processing time is on M2, assign from the right. Like that, we have to go on see whether the smallest possible time is on first machine or on second machine. Now we will start our problem. Now if you observe all the times, the smallest possible time is 10 hours. 10 hours is the smallest possible time. On which machine? Machine binding. And which job? That is book number 6. So from the given problem we can see the smallest processing time is 10 hours for book number 6 on machine binding. Binding means second machine. So we have to assign this 6th job to the right, not from the left. If first machine is there, we have to assign from left. If second machine smallest time happens, assign giving from the right. So the smallest processing time is 10 hours on job 6 on binding machine. Binding machine means M2. So we assign job 6 in the last cell as follows. How many jobs do we have? 6. So make 6 cells like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the smallest time is 10 hours for 6th job. So assign 6 here. One job is finished. Now we will not consider the 6th job. The remaining jobs are only 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The remaining processing times are book number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And M1, M2. M1 is the printing machine. M2 is the binding machine. So leaving the 6th job, the remaining job, whatever time estimates are given in the problem, same time processing times I have taken. Now in this, find out the smallest possible processing time and on which machine it is occurring. Now if we see all these numbers, 20 is the smallest. That's why I have put one asterisk here, showing that 20 is minimum. For which job? 4th job. On which machine? M1. So M1 means we have to assign from the left, first cell. So in the first cell, we assign this 4th machine. The 4th job is over. Already 6th job we have done. Now 4th job we have assigned in the first cell because 20 is on M1. 2 jobs are over, 4 and 6. The remaining processing times are 1, 2, 3, 5. We don't have 6, we don't have 4. 1, 2, 3, 5. Same, whatever processing times are given in the problem for each job. Now if you see, the smallest processing time is 30 hours for job number 1 and also on job number 5. 30, there is a tie. 2 times 30 is occurring. 130 is for job number 1 on M1 and secondly 30 is for job number 5 on M2. M1 is there, give the assignment from the left, and M2 is there, give the assignment from the right. Now the next minimum is 30 hours on job number 1 on M1 and also for job number 5 on M2. So we assign job 1, this job 1, towards the left and job 5 to the right. So already 2 jobs we have completed, 4 and 6. So 4 and 6 as it is. First job is on M1. So we have to assign to the left side. So left side 1. 5th job is on M2. 30 is on M2. So give from the right. So this 5th job will be before 6th. Before 6th. So out of 6 jobs, 4 jobs we have completed, only 2 jobs are left. That is 2 and 3. Now job 2, job 3, M1. The time are given in the problem. For second job 120, 100, third job 50, 90. What is the minimum time? 50. For which job and on which machine? Third job on machine M1. So again from left. From left we have to assign. So this 50 is for job 3 on M1. So we assign job 3 to the left after job 1. This is job 1. So after job 1 we will assign job 3. So if we assign job 3 here, then only one cell will be left and one job will be left. Which is the job? Second job. So remaining cell we assign the remaining job. So the remaining job in the remaining cell, the optimum sequence will be as follows. First of all 4156, 4156 we have taken. Now third job 50 on M1. So left side here I have taken 3, right? Only one cell is left and second job is left. the second job will be put in the remaining cell. So we got 4, 1, 3, 2, 5, 6. This is called optimum sequence of completing the job. We should not perform the job 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. If we go as usual 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it will take more time. But our objective is to finish all the jobs in the shortest possible time, minimum time. So if we follow this sequence, definitely the total elapsed time will be minimum. Minimum elapsed time from the start of the first book to the completion of the last book, corresponding to the optimum sequence, is computed in the following table. So what is the total elapsed time? What is the idle time for first machine and idle time for second machine? That we can find out by preparing this table for this optimum sequence, right? So first column, book number. In this book number, we take this optimum sequence 4, 1, 3, 2, 5, 6, right? Now one broad column printing machine, one broad column binding machine, and the last column will be idle time for binding machine. There is no need to make a column for idle time for printing machine. Directly we can be able to get. Only for binding machine it is necessary to make the column to find out the idle time. Idle time means the time during which the machine is waiting for the job. Machine is waiting for the job. Now first of all, fourth job. In the printing machine we have two sub columns, in, out. That means at what time the job is started and what time the job is finished. That is in and out. So first we complete the time of printing machine, then we come to binding machine. First of all, see the calculations carefully. At 0 time, we start the first book. Here the first book is fourth book. So always the in time for the first book is 0. From 0. So what is the processing time for fourth book on printing machine? See the original problem. Fourth book printing machine, 20 hours. So we are starting from 0 and 20 hours is the processing time for fourth book. So 0 to 20. So 20 hours it will be finished. Immediately after completing this job, the new job will be started by this printing machine. What is the new book? First book. So from 20 it is going to start. There should not be any time lapse between completion of one book and the starting of the next book. Immediately after finishing from 0 to 20, it will start the next machine, next job. Next job is 1. From 20, it will start. So what is the processing time for first book on printing? The first book on printing is 30 hours. It is starting at 20 hours and more 30 hours we require. So 20 plus 30, 50th hour, the job will be completed. So here you can say 50. So 20 plus this 30, that is 50. Immediately after completing this first job, it will start the third job. So again 50. Third job printing time. You can see third job printing time is 50. 50. So 50 plus 50 hours, it will become 100 hours. At 100th hour, this third book will be finished. Immediately at 100th hour, next book will be started. That is second book. How much time second book on printing? Second book on printing is 120 hours. So 100 plus 120, it will become 220 hours. The job will be finished at 220th hour. Immediately at 220th hour, next job will be started, fifth job. Fifth job on printing is 90. So here 220 plus 90, it will be 310. 310 hours. Immediately at 310, next book. That is book number 6. Book number 6, printing time 110. So here 310 plus 110, 420. 420th hour, the last book is completed. That means this printing machine started at 0 hour and completed all its jobs at 420th hour. In between, there is no idle time at all for this printing machine. Now we see the binding machine. The binding work will start only when the work on printing is over. After completing the printing, then only binding machine will start. So first, book number 4. Book number 4 was finished at 20th hour. At 20th hour. So immediately after 20th hour, binding work will start. So here 20th hour binding work will start. Right? The first 20 hours the binding machine was idle. Because during the whole elapsed time, 0 hour first printing was started. So it has taken 20 hours. So during this 20 hours, binding machine was idle. So 20 hours is the idle time. Now, what is the time for book 4 on binding machine? Book 4 on binding machine is 60 hours. So 20 plus 60 is 80. So it started from 20th hour and ends at 80th hour. At 80th hour, the first book is finished on binding machine. Now we have to check what is the out time for printing. The out for time for printing is 50 hours. But immediately at 50th hour, the binding work cannot start because binding machine was free after 80th hour. 80th. So from 80 it will start. So you have to compare whether the out time is more or this out time is more. The out time of printing machine or the out time of binding machine. Whichever is more, that should be taken as the starting time for binding machine. So here 80 or 50, whichever is higher, 80 is higher. So it will start at 80th hour. Now find out what is the time requirement for first book on binding. The first book on binding is 80 hours. So 80 plus 80 hours. So 160 hours. Now compare 160 or 100, whichever is higher. 160 is higher. So we start from 160th hour. The third book binding machine, how much time is required? Binding machine 90. So 160 plus 90, you will get 250th hour. Now compare 250 or 220, whichever is higher. 250 is higher. So we start from 250. Now what is the time for second book on binding? Second book on binding is 100. So 250 plus 100 is 350. Now 350 or 310, whichever is higher, 350 is higher. Start from 350. So fifth book binding 30 hours. So 350 plus 30 is 380th hour. At 380th hour, this fifth book was completed. But immediately it cannot start sixth book. Because sixth book was finished at 420th hour on printing machine. This binding machine has to wait. It has completed the job at 380th hour. But it cannot start the next book because the next book is still processing going on printing machine. So compare whichever is higher, 380 or 420, whichever is higher, 420 is higher. So 420th hour, it will start the work, right? How much time? Sixth machine binding. Sixth machine binding is 10 hours. So 420 plus 10, 430th hour. At 430th hour, the work will be finished on binding machine. But during this time, how many hours the machine waited? The machine, binding machine completed the job at 380th hour, but next job it started at 420th hour. So from 380 to 420, the binding machine was idle. So 420 minus 380, how many hours? 40 hours. So idle time is 40 hours. Take the total, 20 hours plus 40 hours, 60 hours. So 60 hours is the total idle time on binding machine. Whereas printing machine, how many hours? Printing machine was idle. The printing machine completed the job at 420th hour. But all the jobs are completed at 430th hour. So total elapsed time is 430 hours. Elapsed time means the time from beginning of the first book and ending of the last book. Beginning of the first book, time 0. Finishing time of the last book, 430. The total time is 430. In that 430, 10 hours is the idle time for printing machine. 430 minus 420. So from the above table it is clear that the total elapsed time is 430 hours. This is the 430. Idle time for printing machine is 10 hours. How 10? 430 minus 420, 10 hours. And idle time for binding machine is 60 hours. That's all. This is a very simple problem because we have not come across any ties or any other complications. It's very simple problem. So I have explained you in detail regarding the steps required. So this is the method of solving a sequencing problem. Inshallah, we will continue the next problem in the next video.